All right, back at it again with another one of them. Starting off getting my placement along the sides. Working on that canvas material. I always like to work on the canvas material because it has that texture that grabs the paint. It don't really slip and slide like when you're working on leather. So just moving and grooving with this word block. You know, getting the even spacing in there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I may like to switch it up with the size of the letters. You dig? Not gonna be a long word, just a short word, short name. You know what I'm saying? And after this, I'm gonna go ahead and jump back in with this sky blue. You know, sky blue along the inside. Then I'm gonna go ahead and fade it out from the top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? Top to bottom fade out. That tends to be one of my go-tos. I always like to do. You know. So finishing that up, okay, here it is with the sky blue going in, top going down, fading it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come back in with that royal blue. You know what I'm saying? With that royal blue, I'm gonna fade it on in there. You know. Doing the sky blue across the borders, across that outside, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna always give it that extra feel, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna give it that good background for the doves that I'm gonna put around the outside. So making sure that's an even coat, making sure that's straight, drying it off too with the heat gun. Coming back in with the heat gun, drying off some of those wet spots, you know. Oh, you gotta be careful with those wet spots, man. They may trip you up sometimes, you know what I'm saying? You'll go across it with the gun and then get that splatter paint, you know. So heat gun is to prevent all that. Make sure you don't get none of that going on. So that's the fade out with the royal blue right there. You know what I'm saying? I always like to get a good even split, you know what I'm saying? Coming around the outside with the doves around the outside, just sprinkling some of them doves around, top, bottom, just putting some paint where it ain't. Getting some doves around that left side as well. Sometimes when I do the shoes, I may just stretch the doves all the way to the back, you know. But this time I'm gonna just keep it, you know, just keep it nice and neat, you know. Which hardly ever happens in the airbrush, you know what I'm saying? Usually I like to just go all out and just go wild with it. But right now I'm keeping it tight knit, you know what I'm saying? Especially with this outline, you know what I'm talking about? Just staying real cool and staying real simple around this outside. That's all you need at this particular design. So just getting that even line around, all the way around. Brings out that boldness to that letter. Alright, cool. I always like to do the bottom half of the word block a little bit thicker than the top part. It just gives it that good amount of depth when I like to go in there, you know what I'm saying? Go in there at the bottom and you know, make it a little heavier than that top. Now after this black outline, I'm gonna come back in there with the white highlights. Alright, come to a closing on this black outline. Just doing the last little finishing touches and I'm gonna be done with it. Alright, sometimes at this stage, what I might do is do a drop shadow on some of those letters. Right now, that ain't gonna be the case at this design. I'm gonna just jump straight in with these highlights. Get the highlights in those corners and around the top of the letter to make sure that word is kind of top lit. At this point, I may just come back in with a secondary light source across the bottom. Alright, that's cool. That's cool. Also putting some of them highlights on the side of the word block too. You know, so and it's another way to make your words pop a little bit harder across that bottom. You know what I'm saying? Just come back in with that white outline. White outline across the bottom. It just gives it that extra, makes your words jump out a little bit from that blue background. Alright, cool. It's looking good. It's looking good. I'm liking how this is coming out. Alright, I'm just jumping back in there with that hard blue, that darker blue, making it look just a tad bit heavier across the top. You know, cool. Now on to the next shoe. Get my placement right for my letters. Now this is only gonna be a 3-letter word, so I'm gonna just freehand them on in there. I always like to do those shorter names. It gives me that extra space to really put some heavy style in there. Alright, what I'm doing, that T-O, and then to the M. Alright, cool. Getting the outlines of those letters, and I'm filling it up with that sky blue. Just getting a nice even coat. Even coat, then after that, go around the outside with that mist. I always like to call it that mist, but it's really the background. It's the background that I'm gonna put the doves on top of. Alright, cool. Now I'm gonna come in with the blue. Darken the inside of that word. Doing the fade out from top to bottom. Then after that, I'm come back in with the black. Get that nice cool blend, that nice cool fade out. Alright, this is the stage where I put the doves on the outside, put the doves around the outside of the shoe. I ain't gonna do too many doves in this design. I'm gonna do about probably like 2 or 3 of them. That's all I need. I don't really need too much. And do one more for good measure. Alright, that's good. Now working on the other side. Thinking about doing a big dove. I might get a little smaller dove right there. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's good. That's good. I might do another dove on top of that. Yep. Alright, getting a nice. Anytime I like to do my doves, I always like to do it in clusters. I don't like to do too much spacing. But get one more in there. Alright, so that's cool. So the black outlines just jumping right into there. Getting the thin lines at the top. After I get my thin lines at the top, I'm gonna go back in, make those lines at the bottom a little heavier. Then after I get the lines at the bottom a little heavier, I may come back in with the drop shadow. Drop shadow at the bottom of the words. Alright, cool. So there I go, getting those lines, getting those in there heavier towards the bottom. Then I'm gonna come back up to the top and go light, you know. Alright, just making that drop shadow along the bottom of the word. Just a little bit heavier, a little bit darker, you know. Below that drop shadow, it may come back with that white highlight. Alright, making that line a little thicker. Just making sure it's thicker to my liking. Alright, cool. Might fill up that little empty white space. Might fill it up with a little bit of black or a little bit of blue, but right now, let's get these highlights in. Yeah, I'm getting there. There I go with the white highlight across the bottom. Alright, cool. Making sure it's nice, making sure it's clean, making sure it's crisp. Little white highlight across the top. Getting some of that side lighting in, you know what I'm saying? It's always good to have multiple light sources in your design. Alright, from there, just finishing off that highlight across the bottom. I ain't gonna go across the top with this design. I'm gonna just keep the highlights toward the bottom, keep the outline toward the bottom, and that's it. Yeah.